Real talk.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Humans Talking Podcast. I am your announcer, your co-host, FRENO. Normally, Brylon would be here doing the episode with me, but he is preoccupied at the moment, so we're going to do a little a solo episode, a little solo cast. So, just going to catch up on some things of the week. What have we been missing? What's been going on? I'm going to apologize in advance. I've been sick for like the past couple weeks. You can probably hear it in my voice, but if you hear me clearing my throat or sniffing a little bit, you know, it's not cocaine. Don't worry about it. No booger sugar here. No, just getting over some stuff. But in terms of topics, there's been quite a few things going on in the world these days. I think the first thing we should probably bring up is, well, I guess the constant trend of what used to be Facebook, which is now Meta. Mark Zuckerberg still doing whatever it is he thinks he needs to do for his company. Changing it to Meta was already not a great look. I don't know if anybody even approves of that. I haven't really heard anyone really talk about Facebook since. I mean, obviously I'm still referring to it as Facebook, but it is of course now indeed Meta. And from everyone I've talked to, I haven't really noticed anyone calling it Meta. And I don't know if that's just because no one notices or more importantly, just no one cares. I know when he wanted to make this move, everyone was saying no. Investors, customers, employees, but since he runs the company, he's like, I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. And I don't think it's picked up steam at all. And if anything, I think it's gotten a lot of backlash. From what I've been reading, the stock, excuse me, the stock of Facebook has actually gone down quite a bit from what it used to be. I think it used to be over like $250 a share, and now it's down to like $90 a share. So that's insane. And I know he's trying to push this whole Metaverse, like online virtual reality experience that no one wants to partake in. I know they advertised it as being, pretty sleek, pretty good looking. Excuse me. Cracking open a frothy, tasty, ice cold Dr. Pepper right now. Hang on. Oh, that's the good stuff. But yeah, pushing the whole VR meta online thing that actually looks garbage. It looks like old Nintendo 64 graphics as like an online universe for people to go and hang out and mingle and buy things. I don't know how many of you have read the book Ready Player One, but I'm sure some of you have at least seen the movie. So you get the concept of having an online virtual world where you can have an avatar and just jump in and just, do anything, have fun, have essentially an online society within a gaming world. And I assume that's what he's trying to push. I don't know if he just really got inspired by that movie. I don't know if one of his kids was like, Dad, can you do that? And he's like, you know what? I can do that. I want to do that. I feel like that would be a better explanation than what we're getting. If he came out and made a statement and said, hey, you know what? I know everyone hates this. No one likes this, but I'm doing it for my son. If he has a son. I don't know if he has daughters or kids. Excuse me, whatever. But whatever. I'm doing it for my kids. They saw the movie Ready Player One. And I was like, hey, I have the power and the money and the resources to do that. I feel like people would give him some slack, or at the very least, get some talented people on his team to help him make that a reality. But just to come out and say, hey, we're doing this online metaverse, it's going to be the future. And everyone's like, no, it's not. And he's like, sure it is. I'm going to do it. And I've already done it. And here we are. And no one likes it. Last I heard, he was, I don't know, I don't want to say forcing or making mandatory, but he was extremely pressuring his coworkers and his employees that they need to be using it at least, an hour a week or something. He's trying to push the numbers up because no one's using this thing. Nobody wants it. And he's trying to like push them, say, hey, on your lunch break or, when you're on break at all, do it in the metaverse. I wouldn't want to take a break inside of a virtual realm. I want to go outside I'm not a smoker, but I know people like to go on smoke breaks to kind of get some fresh air, de-stress. But to be hounded by your boss saying, hey, I need you guys to use this thing that I made that nobody likes because we need to make it appear to the investors that it's being used. Because I'm sure they have all the data and the numbers, and they can see that nobody's logging on and using this thing. And that's not the employee's fault. I mean, they don't like it. It's not their responsibility to market to their friends and family and say, hey, my boss wants everyone in the world to use this. It's like, screw your boss. We don't work for him or you. We don't like this. You can't make people do something they don't want to do. So I'm just trying to understand why he is pushing it the way he is, why he's so adamant about this metaverse. I don't know, man. I like the child story where the kid read the book or watched the movie Ready Player One, and they want that. That's what I'm choosing to believe at this time. I like that story. It gives him some depth. It gives him meaning to why he's doing what he is that he's doing. But right now it just seems kind of left field. A bunch of investors have pulled out. A lot of people don't even use Facebook/Meta anymore. I've never really been a big fan of it. Even back when it was Facebook, it's just not really my thing. I'm not a big social media person, but if I were, Facebook is like not even in the top 5. That's just, I don't really, I have no use for it. I'm sure other people do, friend groups and things like that, and trying to find like-minded people. But, there's other platforms you can do that with that are more fun to use, more interactive, and at the very least entertaining. That's what makes TikTok so popular. Like, people find entertainment amongst all the garbage videos that are on there. Like, as much crap as you scroll through, eventually you'll find something that, you like watching, or makes you laugh, or, makes you think. It's got something for everybody, which I think Facebook used to have at some point. I assume. I've never really done it, but, I don't know what it's going to do now. Now, I know a lot of people are probably saying, like, oh man, Facebook's going to go out of business. They're going to go bankrupt. And I'm like, with a big major corporation like Facebook, I don't see it getting that bad. If it did lose enough money, I see it going the Warner Brothers route. Like, they lost so much money that another company will just come in and just buy them out entirely, have a corporate takeover, because Facebook has, I guess, an advanced AI system of how it runs its website. So if someone else were able to harness that power, sound like a supervillain, someone able to harness the power, they could control the world, whatever. Because Facebook has a lot of data in it. Like, I don't even think the government would, just let something like that die. I mean, they're probably using it themselves. I mean, to spy and track on everybody. But yeah, too powerful of a platform to die out. If Zuckerberg keeps going down this path, which it seems like he will, I see someone buying them out in the future. Now, in terms of a buyout, to kind of switch gears a little, Elon Musk just bought Twitter. So I don't know if they went to court, because I know there were some disputes amongst the deal where he wanted Twitter to provide them specific data on their accounts. From what he was saying, there's a lot of bot accounts on Twitter. I mean, and again, not a social media person. I don't use Twitter a lot. But he was saying, hey, there's a lot of bots and fake accounts on Twitter. How do we get rid of that? Can you show me some proof of that or whatever? And there was some back and forth between them. So he was threatening to pull out of the deal. And they're like, hey, you can't pull out. We'll sue you. Which, honestly, I'm not even entirely sure how that works. I could probably look deeper, but I honestly just don't care enough. I don't. Social media, it's whatever. But anyway, here we are now. It is October 29th as of the recording of this video. It might be uploaded to the channel tomorrow on Sunday. It's typically when I get this up. But yeah, he officially owns Twitter now. I'm curious to see on where he wants to take the platform. I know he wants to. He sees the opportunity in it, right? I mean, because everyone uses it. Everyone's on there communicating. They use it a lot more than they use Facebook, I imagine, which is why he probably sees the potential. I don't know if he wants to exactly create a safe space, but he wants to create, or at least to encourage a platform where people can, have free speech and say what they want. Within reason, of course. Once you start making bomb threats and saying racist crap, then, obviously if you're going to be a garbage, toxic person, get out of here. Mm. But in any case, so that's that. Hopefully, Elon does something good with Twitter. I know of all the social media platforms, Twitter is the most toxic. So trying to make something good with Twitter is there's a high chance it can be an oxymoron, is what I'm saying. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. And in other news, we've got the whole Bayonetta 3 fiasco. Well, the voice actor fiasco. Let's see. I forgot her name. I know Jennifer Hale is the new voice actress for Bayonetta 3, which I saw reviews for. And Bayonetta 3 looks amazing. They actually tightened up the gameplay and made some tweaks to it that made it even better. But, matter of fact, let me see if I can find her name. Let's see. Bayonetta. If I can spell. Voice actress, yeah. Helena Taylor, that's right, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, or even know what Bayonetta is a video game that's similar to Devil May Cry, except it's with a female role. And instead of being a demon, she's a witch, and she can use her hair and magic spells and guns and weapons to beat up angels and monsters and things like that. Very fun game, very fun series. The third one just came out. The actress who played the voice of Bayonetta herself was named Helena Taylor. She did the first two games, Bayonetta 1, Bayonetta 2. The company obviously tried to bring her on board for Bayonetta 3, and she turned it down. Long story short, she felt like she wasn't being paid enough. So the issue is she made a statement. And the statement she made wasn't 100% true. She purposely withheld information, which has now proven to make her look bad and look like a liar, because she purposely withheld information to make the situation sound worse than what it was. She originally said they were only going to pay her $4,000 to voice act the entire game of Bayonetta, which a lot of people believed, because believe it or not, voice actresses, the voice industry doesn't pay well. It's one of the lowest paying jobs, and it's been an ongoing battle for a long time to get voice actors paid what they deserve. But in any case, that's a separate issue. So when she said 4,000, everybody believed her, because everyone knows the voice industry is infamous for down paying people, essentially not paying them what they're worth for these big ass, movies, TV shows, video games, these big projects that people invest millions into, but you pay chump change to the voice actor, who essentially carries the character, who in a way makes the character by the way, of the inflections of their voice, the way they sound, the way they make certain noises. I mean, there are certain, like Matt Mercer, there are certain like iconic voice actors, when you hear a character, they have a unique voice. Same with singers, Ozzy Osbourne, Slipknot, they've got a unique voice. You know who that is when they speak. But yes, voice actors are paid the least. Anyway, Helena Taylor, she made a series of videos on, I believe, Twitter is where it was, where she said she was only paid $4,000 for the entire game, or that's what they were offering, and so she denied it. And so she essentially, quite literally, asked everyone on the internet to boycott the game, which was a little extreme. I agree that voice actors are underpaid, and I do believe there is a message she has that needs to be heard. But to boycott the whole video game that's going too far. Because when you say that, you're trying to go after the rich people at the top who didn't want to pay you. That's who you want to attack. But when you say boycott the game, you're affecting everyone else under them as well. There's a lot of innocent people who worked hard making this game. Why should they not be paid just because you want to boycott a game? So it's not really fair to say that. She also made a statement saying the new actress, Jennifer Hale, another talented woman with a great voice, does a lot of good roles. She's doing the voice of Bayonetta now in this game, and she took a swipe at her saying, hey, I think she's a talented woman, but, she has no right to do this. I made this character, which is extremely arrogant. It's a very arrogant thing to say, right? To say you created a character. You didn't create the character. You don't own the IP of the character, but you did voice her. So when that character speaks, people are expecting to hear your voice. But to say you made her, that's going too far. All right, you didn't make the character. You're a voice actress. You made the character sound good. We enjoy the way she sounds because of what you did, but you didn't make her. So, not a good attack on Jennifer Hale, who's an innocent woman who obviously has no say over the politics of the gaming industry. She has no control of the payroll or who does what. She was just brought in to voice this character. She said sure, had no idea of the drama that went on in the background, with Helena Taylor. The company has since made a statement. They've come out and given stronger evidence than Helena Taylor was able to do. They were able to show some proof about what went down behind the scenes. They're saying, hey, we didn't offer her 4,000 outright. We wanted to give her 4,000 per session. So really changing the story on this one. And they were going to do her for about 5 sessions. So she would have made between $16,000 and $20,000 total. So 4,000 per voice section or voice session. And they were going to do about 4 or 5 sessions. So that was a lie. Helena also made a statement saying, hey, she contacted, I guess, the CEO. I'm getting a lot of this information, not correct, but the head honcho in Japan who oversaw, I believe it's the game director, Yusuke Miyata, I think, or I don't know, someone at the top. She's like, yo, I think I deserve more. I should get paid more. And so he came back with a counter offer. He's like, okay, we'll give you 5,000 more than what we were going to pay you. Because I think what the company was actually going to pay her was 10,000, and they offered to give her 5,000 on top of that, so 15,000. And then she declined. Now, what they're saying, the company, is like, hey, she was asking for too much money. We tried to negotiate with her, which it sounds like they did, and she still didn't want to do it. They said, from what they were saying, and this is allegedly she asked for a 6-figure deal with residuals. If you know anything about voice acting, they don't pay 6 figures, and they damn sure don't do residuals. Now, if you're an extreme, high status celebrity like Mark Hamill, voice of Joker, Luke Skywalker, yes, they're going to pay him a lot of money. And they may give him residuals, they may not. I don't know what goes on with him, but there's a 1% when it comes to the top voice actors, right? And he's up there. So he can negotiate. He's also a movie star. It's just he's got things he can work with. Everyone else who's not in, movies, TV shows, anything like that, they just do voices. And it pays the bills. It gets them by if they constantly have work. Not necessarily a long TV show, but after they're done recording, voice acting for whatever it is the project is, they move on to the next gig and they audition and, they have some food on their plate. They got money coming in throughout the year. Man, it must be pretty dope if you can get a voice acting gig on a major cartoon show or something that has multiple episodes per season. Because then you're guaranteed, money, at least for the rest of the year. And maybe the next year, for the next season. Who knows? But yeah, it doesn't look good. At first, because she struck first, right? Shots fired. She was the one who shot first. So obviously everybody got behind her. We got your back, boo. We understand y'all are underpaid. Cool. But then when the rest of the information came out from the company, with literally of them proving hey, she left out a lot of information, which, makes people not trust you now. Because the information she left out was important. It was pertinent information, and it paints a very different picture. I feel sorry for the woman. I understand voice actors are underpaid, and I understand she was upset with, the deal she was given. Granted, this is her 3rd time around for this character, so naturally you want to get paid more than you did the last 2. So it seems like she thought she had negotiating power. But this is a This is a big industry, sweetie. Any actor or actress that doesn't want to perform, they can literally get someone else. You know how many people are starving for work? Not just voice actor wise, but just acting wise, television, commercials, movies. There are so many people who want this. It's a saturated market. But she felt like, she could pull the trigger on this smoking gun and make it happen. And at first it seemed plausible, but now it's kind of sad because now she's ruined her image, not just as a whistleblower, but as a, and it's harsh, a liar. She makes herself look like a liar. So any type of relationship, personal or business wise, nobody wants to work with a liar. It looks bad. Going forward, people are going to see her as like, hey, if we agree to work with this person, she might, turn around, be two-faced and try to make a statement to make us look bad. And companies don't want to deal with drama. They've already got other crap they got to deal with. So this will definitely harm her work in the future, voice acting wise. Now, I think she still does theater on her own time. So that's completely different. But for voice acting, if it was hard for her to get any voice gigs now or before, it's going to be harder now that she did this, because now she kind of put a target on herself. She brought this upon herself. Had she just been honest, this would be a completely different conversation, a completely different story. But alas, this is where we are now. Anywho, that is the whole Helen Taylor situation. Give me a second here. Some more of this Dr. Pepper in me. I'm having a little hard time breathing. My nose is kind of clogged up, but gonna power through this. We're gonna get this done. So, in terms, and you guys have heard me mention this in the last podcast. I don't really like bringing up Kanye West, because it's always going to be some sort of drama. And for some of you out there, you might find that juicy, you might find this interesting, but man, not all drama is good drama. There are some things I just don't like poking with a stick. Now, as you all know, Kanye West made some anti-Semitic statements a while back. Naturally, because we're PC now, it has bit him in the ass. And a lot of his brand deals and endorsements that, were working with him have dropped him. The man has literally gone from, in terms of status, he has quite literally gone from a billionaire status down to a millionaire status. Now, I know that may not be a big deal for all you guys, but the difference between a billionaire and a millionaire is huge. Huge. And he's lost all this money because he couldn't keep his mouth shut, or because he had some sort of opinion about something that he, at the time, thought was right. Granted, as anti-Semitic as it was. I don't think Kanye's intentionally malicious. I do think there was a message he was trying to get across, but he presented it in the worst way possible. Now, normally when people speak, there's truth in it somewhere. It's a little odd. You can kind of tell when someone's just flat out lying about everything. From his point of view, from anybody's point of view, when they speak, there always is a little bit of truth in there somewhere, no matter how much they exaggerate or lie or misconstrue things. There's something they believe in at the core. And whatever it is he was trying to convey did not come across. He made some hateful remarks against the Jews, and I don't think he understands the audience that he wields with his personal celebrity status. I saw one woman make a statement, and she said there are 14.8 million Jews on the earth. Kanye has 30 million followers on social media alone. He has twice as many followers online, people who listen to his every word, young people too, who are impressionable. Double the amount of Jews in the world. So for him to come out and make a statement as negative and hateful as it was, it's like inciting action into the mob. Like what Trump did with the January 6th insurrection. He didn't physically make them people march the Capitol, but he damn sure encouraged it. He quite literally said with his own lips from his mouth, "We're going to march and I'll be there with you." He wasn't there with him. Shock, surprise. But, he incited it. He incited a mob. Now, in terms of taking responsibility, obviously a narcissist can't do that. And that's why I relate Trump and Kanye. They're narcissists. You can't really present a truth to a narcissist. They'll implode. They can't handle the truth. They live in their own world and they see things their own way on purpose. They're not stupid. They just purposely look at things from their point of view and no one else's. So Kanye made some statements. All of his brand deals dropped him. Adidas dropped him. Balenciaga, all these major players. And I think his deal with Adidas was $1 billion. So if we did some simple math, let's just take a step back and said, hey, if all of his brand deals were around $1.5 million and they all dropped him, that's billions upon billions of dollars he has just lost with partners and endorsements. Easily knocking him back down to a millionaire status. I mean, he'll always have money from the music he makes. But he's burned the bridges with a lot of these people. And I don't know if he'll be able to come back because we live in a PC culture now. And typically when you get canceled, at least I haven't seen someone come back, depending on how bad it is. Now, because he continues to make music and people love him, I do see him coming back at some point. It won't be immediate, but it's one of those things where you're too big to fail, right? Or that expression, if you believe in that sort of thing. Too big to fail. Same with Trump. Too big to fail. Doesn't matter how much crap he gets caught and, charged with, he'll always pay his way out of it and move on. And he knows that. That's why he's so cocky. He's like, they can try to arrest me and raid me and sue me and all this stuff. He's like, historically speaking, it's never worked. The sad truth, it doesn't work. Not that it can't work. It just hasn't. Donda Academy, the private school that he made, I guess in name of his mother. They have a basketball team, and after the anti-Semitic statements he made, I heard the basketball league, high school league, kicked them out of tournaments. And then from there, because I think it's about 100 kids that go to this school, and it's like $15,000 per semester to go to this school, which obviously Kanye has scholarships for, and he'll pay for some students to go there. But I heard they shut the school down for the rest of the school year. They're like, hey, we're just going to go ahead and cancel school classes and just be done with it while we're waiting for this Kanye stuff to blow over. Because it affects a lot of people, right? His name is on a lot of things. He's doing deals with a lot of people. Excuse me. And a lot of people don't want the negative attention. They don't want the drama. They don't want the backlash. They themselves don't want to be branded as anti-Semites. So cutting ties with Kanye isn't so much personal. I mean, it is to an extent personal, but it's also business, right? People aren't going to want to, shop at my store because I did a deal with a racist, anti-Semite. It looks bad on the image. And again, we're PC now, so we cut ties with toxic people and we move on. Granted, if those bridges will be repaired in the future, I don't know. But they've cut ties with him. Shut his school down, lost his brand deals. Dude walked in to Skechers with his crew, assuming trying to make another deal after he just lost Adidas. Because when these companies, when they drop him, they're dropping a lot of money because he's getting money from them, but they're also, getting money from him. Like they're scratching each other's backs. You help me, I'll help you. So when they drop his product and they cut ties with him, that's a lot of freaking money that they're losing. I mean, is it the right thing to do? Obviously, yes. You don't want to be associated with anti-Semites or racists or anything like that. But, it's a lot of money being lost on both sides. Granted, these companies can just do another brand deal with another celebrity who isn't so problematic and, people love, has a following on social media so they can promote their products and make more money. But it hurts on both sides. But yeah, he walked into Skechers with his crew we assumed to make a deal. Why else would he be at Skechers, at the LA headquarters? And of course, they met him and they quickly escorted him out. And they're like, sorry, we're not doing business. They made a statement too, like, we're not going to do business with him. We don't agree with his anti-Semitic remarks. We're not racist. No. Sorry, boo-boo. Thank you, but no thank you. Now, Kanye has since oh God, I got a drink for this one. Give me a second. Okay, we're going to get through this. Kanye has since made an apology. Apparently, this is his second apology. I don't know what his first apology was, but from the video I was able to pull up, I'm going to play this for you guys. He was able to make a quote unquote apology to the Jewish people for his anti-Semitic remarks. Now, I want you guys at home, in your car, wherever you are listening to this podcast, sit down and try not to be distracted for the next couple minutes. And I want you to take a deep breath for the knowledge and information that he's about to unload in this apology. You're probably thinking, what? Is he just going to come up and say, hey, you know what? I said some inappropriate things against the Jews and I apologize. I need to work on myself. I will not be making any comments like that going forward. Done. Simple. A quick apology. Get it out the way. That took me all of like 5 seconds. This apology goes on for 2 minutes. So just prepare yourself for what you're about to hear. All right. Let's get into this and let's see what Kanye has to say.
Why I say I'm sorry to the Jewish people that I hurt. It's not about, like I said, I'm not going to hold this apology hostage, right? It's obviously it's about God, but God is everything, right? So what's the point of even having language and being, you can't engineer if you say God, right? It's like, God asks us to be judgmental so that you become, if you're a doctor, right? It's your judgment that saves grandma, right? Mm-hmm. And God puts that in there. It's like we have God inside us. We're a piece of God also, right? So I'm going to go specific to a person.
So I paused it there. Excuse me. I can't listen to that without laughing. First of all, what the fuck is he saying? Excuse the language. He's ranting and he's going on. And all I heard was God. Language and then God again. Now, he started off strong. I'll give him that. He started off by saying, apology to the Jews. He didn't mean to offend them, whatever. But then he proceeds to go into more stuff that doesn't make sense. So let me see if I can get the rest of this going.
Story about Da Vinci alone is enough of a reason for me to give a sincere apology to the Jewish people, because I do believe that there's a Da Vinci code inside of all of my misspellings and scribbles right here that God wants me to get to the world. And when I'm in my way, if God has set something on me, when I'm in my way, I'm in God's way. Now, I can point at other people and say, hey, you guys are in God's way because you're not listening to me. But if I'm in my way, I'm not listening to God.
Oh, I'm trying not to laugh. This is a serious topic. Okay. So just to recap, previously we had said God, language, and God. In continuing this apology, we then moved to the Da Vinci Code, language, my way, God again. I'm not sure what the Da Vinci Code has to do with the Jews, but I think he is legitimately trying to make a statement. I don't know what that statement is, but he is just going on about who knows what. And if you're religious out there, maybe you are able to extract what he's trying to say. Maybe you're able to decode this Da Vinci coded message that he's putting out to us. But Man, you just got to get to the point, man.
Be a philosopher and a leader, whatever other language, I have to listen to God. So before God, what I will do is start off as a samurai and say, I'm sorry for hurting you as a Jewish person. I'm sorry for the way that made you feel. And I'm sorry for the entire.
This man is a god, a Da Vinci Code, and a samurai. A literal samurai.
Population of a race that I feel is actually my brothers, because I classify and feel that I'm also connected with Christ in that way, that my people came from Africa in that way. And I can't say it's this exact teaching or that exact teaching, but I feel that there's an important, the sons of Abraham, however we want to word it, right? For us to come together and bring our different talents together to serve God collectively. And he, as much of an alien as I am, he did not call for me to alienate.
God. Language, Da Vinci Code, God, samurai, alien. That we got it. That's it. We got it, folks. Jewish people, you hear that out there? Take all of that. Take all of that and move forward with as you will. Oh my goodness. I just Kanye, man. There's a theory out there, right? That ever since Mama West, his mama passed away, he just lost his damn mind. Now, I don't personally think he's lost his mind. I don't think he ever had his mind. I do think that he had his mother to keep him grounded whenever he would stray too far, right? You always have that person in your life who can kind of bring you back from the edge. And I'm sure whenever she was alive, I'm sure she had to do that quite a bit because he's always been like this. Kanye, this isn't news for people out there. Kanye has always been Kanye. This is Kanye in a nutshell. Out of his nutshell. But yeah, it makes you think like, man, after she left, there's no filter. There's no one to keep him grounded. He's just like off his leash, saying whatever crazy thing he wants to say. I feel for the brother. He said some stuff. He tried to apologize. I don't know if I would consider those past 2 minutes an actual apology, but maybe that's an apology in his way. That's his way of apologizing. I don't know. I'm not Jewish. I can't speak on the matter, whether that's an apology or not, if that's acceptable, if he still should be canceled. The damage has already been done at this point, so it is what it is. Kanye, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what to say on that one. Oh, man. I hope Brian's doing okay. Brylon. It's a little interesting doing a solo cast. I'm sure people do this all the time, but I'm not used to hearing myself talk. So this is new for me. But yeah. Now, while I have you guys listening in, I just want to throw this out for a second. There is an artist on the internet, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to music. His name is Dr. Orb. And that is DOCTOR space ORB. Dr. Orb. He's been making music for years. And I have never seen a YouTube channel, an artist make so much music and gain essentially no traction. Some of his stuff is hit or miss. Yeah, it's all right, I guess. But there's so much random music on this dude's channel. Most of it seems to be techno-based. I think there's a little rock in here somewhere. I think the dude is a solo artist. I think he's by himself because I never hear anybody else in the songs. It's just him. But if you're into techno and you want to give it a try, check out the channel. Look it up on Spotify or Apple, I think Apple Music is another popular spot people use. Listen to the music, see what you think. Give me some feedback on what you think that is, or what you think of it. And what else do we have going on in the world today? I'm doing a quick rundown on the interwebs here. Personal interest, though, I can bring that up. There's a couple shows that I've been watching that have since, or I guess done for the season. First of which, Rings of Power. Are you Lord of the Rings fans out there? I don't know too much about the Lord of the Rings universe. I'm more of a casual watcher than anything. I do know that Celebrimbor is the one who does eventually create the Rings of Power and eventually the One Ring to rule them all. That being said, the show I thought was okay. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was great, but it was good enough to watch. It was interesting. It was intriguing to see, the old man wizard, wherever he was going. The Harfoots, which I assume are hobbits. Are they old school hobbits before they were called hobbits? Because, that's what they are, right? They're hobbits. Correct me, please, if I'm wrong. Are they like a different brand, a different sect of hobbits that kind of branched off? Because that's what they are. To me, they're hobbits. They call them Harfoots. I don't know why. Maybe they'll explain in the lore, in the history, that they changed their names to hobbits at some point. I don't know. Weird to me, but still an okay show. The elves, of course, being great fighters and archers and whatnot. It was cool to see the orcs, skin burning up in the sunlight. But yeah, I'm curious to see where the story goes now that, Sauron eventually is going to come back. Because I think this show predates the movies, obviously, because the rings haven't been made yet. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes and how Sauron comes to, back to power. Because I guess he was in power 100 years ago and then disappeared and he's coming back. I don't know how the role of Sauron works. I don't know if it's like Hawkman and Hawkgirl from the DC universe, where every time they die, they get reincarnated in another set of bodies. I don't know. Maybe that's what Sauron is. Maybe he just keeps coming back. I don't know. But anyway, good show. Not great. Good to watch. Another show that I just finished was called See, SEE, with Jason Momoa. The third season just wrapped. The third and final season, I should say. So it's finally over. I think each season was about 10 or 12 episodes. But the premise is great. It's in the future. It's a post-apocalyptic future where everyone on Earth is blind for whatever reason. But some people have given birth to babies who can see, hence the title of the show. I love the show because it was a good story, and the action scenes were just unique and they were great. Imagine blind people fighting. And I'm not saying that to make fun of them, and I'm sure you're probably thinking of something weird, two blind guys in the street swinging a cane. No. You live in a society, in a world in this show where everyone is blind and they've all had to teach themselves how to do everything blind, including fight. So the weird type of warfare / martial arts that they do is very interesting because they're always tapping the ground and they're always feeling around, and just the way that they move, they're kind of hunched over because they're trying to reach for stuff and touch the ground and, hear where things are. They have, a great sense of hearing. But it's so cool to see these large scale fights, battles essentially of just a bunch of blind people swinging, touching stuff, trying to figure out where the enemy is so they can stab them and, flip over. It's insane. It's very fun to watch. But it's had its third and final season. It's over now, and my God, it was a good show. Loved it. Highly recommend to anyone who wants to watch something interesting and have, with an interesting premise and has, a decent amount of action. Personally, I enjoyed See more than I did Lord of the Rings, but maybe just Lord of the Rings just started slow. Maybe I'm just not into dwarves and elves that much. I don't know. It's a lot of unrelatable things. And I know that Tolkien made the hobbits, Harfoots, whatever you want to call them, as a representation of us, where, you know, humans are small, we're weak, but we do what we can to stick together and survive against all these unformed, you know, these great odds, these giant beasts. Everything is just big and scary to us going out in the world, but we still want to make our way. I get the connection with that, but I could definitely relate to see a lot more because it felt more realistic. You know, there's no magic. It's just blind people living in the woods. So yeah, great show. Recommend it to anybody who wants to see it. And then of course, the other show I just wrapped was House of the Dragon. My man. Let me tell you something. Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, the way these shows are shot, the way the stories are told, it's a masterpiece. Watching House of the Dragons every week, unfortunately, you know, the season finale happened, so it's over for the next couple years. But just watching every episode play out was just a treat. It's just amazing. It's intuitive. It draws you in because you can, you know, it's not that you can predict it because they project what's going to happen. When these characters are getting into fights with each other or starting beef with each other or, you know, planning to murder one another, you see it coming. You know what you're watching when you're watching a Game of Thrones show. And House of the Dragons does not disappoint. I mean, you get dragons right out the gate. Like, hey, this is normal. It's not a surprise. We have them. We're Targaryens. Moving on to the next thing. So it's already established that the dragons are here. They're riding them. There's a lot of infighting going on. There's a lot of backstabbing, manipulation. It's everything that Game of Thrones is known for. And it was just amazing. It was fun to watch. Can't wait for them to bring it back. Need to see the next season. Yeah, just good stuff. In terms of movies, I don't know how much I can go into this one. The last movie I just watched was Barbarian. And Barbarian is a good movie. I completely understand why people say go into the movie blind. Don't look it up. Don't do any research. And they say that is because the movie has twists in it. More than one. So looking up anything online will ruin it for you. So with that being said, yeah, sit back, go watch it, and just see where the story takes you. Now, it was interesting watching this movie, and I was just like, wow, it's interesting. It didn't really hit me so much with the shock value. I was actually hit with more questions, but the way that the movie was filmed, the way it was directed, was unique. It's something that I feel other directors don't do so much. And I get why, because it's a gamble. If other directors did what he did, the movie may not turn out well, especially if you have a bad movie to begin with. But this movie was interesting, to say the least. Now, I heard the director got his inspiration from, I think it was a book that he saw, and there was a section in it that was directed towards women about women always needing to be on their guard, you know, always needing to be wary of the danger around them. And he took that premise, or that idea, and he wrote a premise to a story or a movie. I think he wrote it in like 30 pages about a woman going to, or essentially a woman being in a situation that she doesn't feel comfortable in and is very wary of. And that's essentially how the entire movie starts. The woman goes to an Airbnb that she had booked on Airbnb.com. She gets there, and the key is gone to the house because someone is already in the house staying. And obviously that's red flags to her. She's like, oh, this isn't good. This is weird. This is creepy. And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, I booked this place. And he's like, well, I'm sleeping here. And she's like, that can't be. I booked it. And he's like, well, I booked it too. And when they both checked their phones for their reservations, they were essentially double booked. You know, it might have been from two different websites, but the property managers allowed this to happen. And at no point in the movie did the property managers take responsibility for anything. I'll say that right now. Apparently just nothing's their fault. They even hang up on someone in the movie when they try to like call and get some answers. It's really frustrating. But yeah, they're double booked. So he's like, okay, well, it's raining outside. Why don't you just stay here? And obviously as a woman, her red flags are just going off constantly. Like, no, you're a stranger. I don't know you. And the whole premise of this movie is just stuff's going off that doesn't seem right. And she's a smart woman. She's like, I should not be doing this. I should not be here. She's very wary. She's always, looking behind her. She has her phone with her. She keeps the doors locked. She's very cautious. But it just, it goes on from there. Now, I don't know if I'm doing it justice by explaining it that way, but that's essentially the premise of the movie. Explaining anything else past that would ruin the movie. It's something you just got to watch and see for yourself. But I enjoyed it. Barbarian was cool. I'm trying to think of any other movies. Well, there's Black Adam. Whenever Black Adam comes to HBO Max or something, I'll watch that. Then I'll give you guys my full opinion. So I still haven't watched that yet. But in a couple weeks, we have the legendary Black Panther 2 movie coming out. And I already know that's going to be fire. That's going to be gold. Because think about it. A lot of people went to see Black Adam. Black Adam was going to make a bunch of movie in the box office because people were hype. They wanted to see Black Adam. They wanted to see The Rock. So whether the movie was good or not, people wanted to see it just to see The Rock. So it pulled in its typical amount of money for an actor of his status. Relate that to Black Panther 2. In real life, Chadwick Boseman, the Black Panther, the king himself, died. He had colon cancer, stage 4 colon cancer, and he died. And it's really sad, and it was really infuriating, especially to us black people, because it really hurt us. It's very hard to find a role model in Hollywood who's African American. I mean, there are a lot more now than there used to be, because again, we're PC now, so everyone's getting a lot more chances to be represented and shown. But man, he was a rising star. I don't think he did a bad movie in his run in Hollywood. And it just sucked because he was young. He was taken too soon. But Black Panther was a great movie. He was a great character. It was the first black superhero we got from DC. It's finally we got one, and then he freaking dies. It sucks. It just sucks. It's we finally got someone who can represent us on screen in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now they're gone. But I digress. Enter Black Panther 2. The story's got to keep going. His sister in the movie, Shuri, has to take over and be the new Black Panther, obviously. But in terms of being a box office blowout, as compared to Black Adam, because Chadwick Boseman was such a prolific character, and people loved him, and he died in real life, everyone is going to want to watch the second movie, because not only was he a great actor, and it's a great movie, and especially black people just want to see our representation again, which is why there's going to be a box office blowout. People are naturally going to be curious to see how his death from real life is handled in the movie. Because now, in the story of the cinematic universe, they're going to have to explain why he's gone, or essentially why he's dead. How they handle that in the cinematic universe is the main reason people want to go see this movie. I believe. We all know it's going to be a great movie. Otherwise, fighting, Namor the Submariner, the villains. Yeah. We know how Marvel movies work, people. We know what we're getting when we invest in Marvel. We're guaranteed a good time. But everyone's curious. How are they going to handle his death? How are they going to explain? Because we know how he died in real life. How did he die in the movies? And I think that curiosity out-trumps by a mile the interest of seeing The Rock play Black Adam. I don't know if that's a controversial topic for people, but I feel it is a truth that needs to be addressed. People want to see how they respectfully handled Chadwick Boseman's death. Because let's face it, when you're watching a Rock movie, Black Adam or otherwise, Fast and the Furious, you're getting The Rock. You know what you're getting when you watch a Rock movie, which is fine, but you know what you're getting. Black Panther 2, you have no idea how they're going to handle this. You know how Marvel movies work, but in terms of its character, you don't know how they're going to handle it. And that's what brings out the intrigue. That's what people want to see. So like everyone else, I'm curious. And my God, I'm already taking a day off work. I'm going to go take the wife, take the kids. We're going to go watch it. and I'm expecting great things. Now, when it comes to DC properties, I lower my expectations because they have a history of disappointing all the time. They just make a bad product with their own IP, which is sad. But with Marvel, you're guaranteed a good time. Whether you like the movie or not, or the Marvel typical formula, for the most part, Marvel makes good movies. That's a whole different conversation when you're talking about, Love and Thunder. The third was the third Thor movie. Is that what that was? The fourth movie? No, third was Ragnarok. Yes. So this fourth Thor movie, I didn't like it. I'm sure that's a very controversial opinion. The movie was not good. But for the most part, Marvel makes a good product. DC, they disappoint. With Marvel movies, I go in with high hopes and expectations, and I'm fairly satisfied when I walk away. I had a good time. I saw what they did with the movie, and I get on with my day. It's a good time for everyone. With DC, I don't have that feeling. It's more of a depression. It's just like, oh, how are they going to ruin it now? So obviously when Black Adam came out, I'm like, hey, I am really interested to see Black Adam, but I am purposely lowering my expectations because I understand how The Rock acts, and I understand how Warner Brothers handles their movies. So even though you have a great character like Black Adam, I'm not expecting it to be bad, but I'm also not expecting it to be good. It's pretty middle ground when it comes to DC properties. But with Marvel, I'm more open-minded. I'm willing to open up my heart, if you will. Because they don't stab me in the back as much as DC does. But yeah. Black Adam 2 comes out. I can't wait. I would say, okay, I'll say this. I don't want to go as far as to say that Black Adam 2, or not Black Adam, Black Panther 2, excuse me, will be the movie of the year. I don't want to make that claim. I still have my reservations for that. I need to see what kind of experience we're getting with that movie. Doctor Strange 2 was a fun movie. I would not call it the movie of the year. It had some good points. It also had some bad points. But it's still a great movie. Thor, Love and Thunder had more bad points than anything. It looked nice. The graphics, the CGI was interesting, but I just didn't like anything else in that movie. I'm sorry. It looked pretty. Wasn't a good movie in my take. I do honestly believe, in my opinion, movie of the year should be Spider-Man Homecoming. That, as soon as I walked out of that theater, as soon as the credits were rolling in that movie, I called it. I'm like, hands down, best movie of the year. It wasn't just a good superhero movie. It was just a good movie in general. The music, the action, the drama, the sad points. I mean, it had everything. It was a roller coaster ride of a movie. How many movies can do that to you? Very few, I would say. Very few can give you that feeling of a range of emotions over the course of 2 hours, 2.5 hours, however long. But a movie that can make you feel like that movie of the year, hands down. And plus, people just love Spider-Man. And even if you were biased and you're like, I just love Spider-Man, it was still a good movie. If you took like the super spider people out of it, it would still be a great movie. It was just so well done. People were hyped for it, and they were not disappointed. Spider-Man has always been a good IP. Now, how Fox handled them is a different story. But with Marvel at the reins and Tom Holland as Peter, oh, my God. Yeah, they haven't made a bad movie yet. But in any case, those are just some topics I wanted to talk about this week. Thank you guys for joining me. Sorry again that my co-host Brylon could not be here, but hey, I felt it was okay for a solo cast. I'm not sure if I'm strong enough to do this all the time. Maybe I am. Maybe you guys can leave some comments. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it was a good show overall. I felt a little different being the only one talking the entire time. But yeah, this has been a Humans Talking podcast. Feel free to leave some comments down below for stuff that you guys want to see in the future, what stuff you want me to talk about. give us some feedback. Let me know how you think the show's going. If you want more podcasts like this, do you want more solo casts where I just talk about stuff? I don't know if I could necessarily drag it on for an hour like I'm doing now, but let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you want to hear, and I'll see what I can do. But with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Please subscribe, hit that bell button, and we'll catch you next week for more humans talking. Later.